Despite being nicknamed the City of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia is without a doubt one of the most dangerous cities in America. Although Philadelphia has a rich history, and many upsides, like all major American cities, it possesses a dark side, being a place where negativity and violence rules supreme. Oftentimes, shootings in the city can be connected to personal beefs. However, the supply of product being distributed throughout the city is a big explanation for the rampant surge in shootings and murders. In this video, I'll be covering the case of a hitman named Ernest Presley, a man whose sole responsibility was to do the bidding of a trafficker, carrying out hits in exchange for a fee. Brace yourself for a candid exploration of the many crimes of this hitman, a dangerous predator who remained in the shadows of this storied city. Ernest Presley was 42 years old when he was sentenced to 5 consecutive life sentences. His charges included 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder for hire, and 4 counts of use of interstate commerce facilities in the commission of murder for hire. This charge simply means that Presley had used his phone to communicate with the trafficker, in order to successfully plan out each hit. In total, Presley claimed to have been paid for killing 4 of his victims, with each of these contract killings taking place in his home city, from 2017 to 2018. Originally investigated back in 2018, the Philadelphia Police Department had teamed up with the FBI to investigate Ernest Presley in connection with the murder of 45-year-old Sean L. Small, a man who had been gunned down in the parking lot of an apartment complex. Law enforcement suspected Presley in Small's murder. During their investigation, they attained CCTV footage of Presley in the location of the crime scene, which further verified suspicions that he was their man. Additionally, Presley and Small had been out drinking the night prior to his death. Clearly, the pair knew one another, and something had gone seriously wrong, resulting in Small losing his life. Later on, it would come out that the trafficker had paid Presley to take out Small. Feeling confident with the evidence that they had obtained, law enforcement moved in for an arrest, successfully taking Ernest Presley into custody. Upon further examining the suspect, police felt as though Presley had likely already killed before, and they were interested in understanding his motivations for crimes dating back to 2016. Law enforcement say that Presley admitted to the murder of a man referred to as CY. The victim was chilling out on a porch when Presley emerged to gun him down. Ernest Presley started off 2017 with a bang, gunning down 26-year-old Maurice Riley. Riley was with 3 friends, and was working on fixing his car, jacking it up to change the brakes. Out of nowhere, Presley snuck up from behind, executing the 26-year-old before fleeing the area on foot. At the time of the murder, police said that Riley had been the intended target. Presley later admitted that he'd been paid by the trafficker to take out Riley. Not satisfied with one murder, Ernest Presley would continue taking lives throughout January 2017. It has been revealed that Ernest Presley was paid to kill a 28-year-old tow truck driver by the name of Kion Fruster Jr., in exchange for a cash payment. Fruster was a father of 2, and was scheduled to testify as a witness in a Philadelphia assault trial, and somebody wanted him out of the picture. Presley was someone who had no regard for human life, and when money was on the line, he put significant effort into completing the job, going to the extreme to finish a contract. Firstly, Presley planned out the murder of Fruster by coming up with a misdirect for the police. He randomly chose a co-worker of Fruster to kill, selecting 35-year-old Eric Robinson.
At work, doing what I do, towing cars. It's a Sunday night, in the rain, I'm soaked. Ain't even a full shift. But it's cool though, as long as I'm making some money. You know, gotta make that bread. Ain't nobody doing for me. Nobody helps me. Nobody gives me no money. Nobody take care of me. Help me! Where everybody at? Everybody all asleep, 3 in the morning, really? Everybody wanna be asleep. Oh, my bad. Some of y'all got jobs. The rest of y'all welfare. What the y'all sleeping for?
Having left work, 35-year-old Eric Robinson went to a nearby bar. He was standing outside of the bar when Presley walked up on him, shooting him in the head. Sadly, Robinson passed away at the scene. According to law enforcement, Presley's plan was to confuse the investigation, making it seem as though there was a rival feud between 2 tow trucker companies. However, the men were co-workers, so his logic behind this decision sounds pretty insane. The decision to kill Robinson likely raised more eyebrows when something similar played out the following day. Ernest Presley knew his target's patterns and locations. He sat in wait for the father of 2. Having already killed an innocent man the day prior, Another innocent man was now about to pay the price for being ready to cooperate in an assault trial. Fruster exited his house, and was greeted by another co-worker driving a tow truck. Hopping into the passenger side of the tow truck, Fruster didn't notice Presley approaching at fast speed. Upping his gun, Presley began shooting into the tow truck, killing Fruster in the front passenger seat, and injuring the co-worker, who was struck several times in his lower body, and left in critical condition. Just over a year later, a woman suffering from a gunshot wound to her arm was taken to a Philadelphia hospital. She relived a terrifying experience in which a gunman had ambushed her as she walked to her front door. Fortunately, she survived being shot by the man. Not only had the assailant shot the woman, but he had also ransacked her house. Upon later making it back to her house, she realized that money and jewelry had been stolen. Presley would be tied to the crime through a confession. Moreover, he had been seen on surveillance video pawning off a Rolex watch belonging to the victim. Not only was Presley someone who was more than willing to pull the trigger, but he was also someone who enabled other people to carry out hits. An unnamed man had an active price on his head, issued by a major Philadelphia trafficker. Tapped in with the streets, Presley provided the location of said unnamed man. Tragically, in a sad and common occurrence, a bystander named Yasir Hopkins was hit by bullets in a case of mistaken identity. The 26-year-old was a talented basketball player who had ambitions of getting into real estate, and had attended Temple University's Real Estate Institute. Unfortunately, Philadelphia's street life was too alluring for Hopkins and he became involved with it, hanging around like-minded young men. Hopkins told his mother that her worrying about his street dealings was going to get him killed. In a cruel twist of fate, Hopkins was killed by bullets not intended for him. In total, Ernest Presley murdered 6 people, and attempted to murder a woman outside her home. Plus, he had given up the location of a man, resulting in a mistaken identity killing that destroyed another family. In spite of Presley being taken off the streets, Philadelphia continues to see brazen and cruel acts of violence being committed on a daily basis. The violence will probably continue to escalate, and the result will be more families suffering from the loss of loved ones. Rest in peace to all of the victims.